everybody. Welcome to Powerful Impact. Um, I'm SP, and we have Goddess Zabby here, and we have our special guest DJ JFX.
Yes. Bless.
Good. I was so happy that you decided to come because you have a film coming out. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, absolutely. The title is Wheels of Steel, written, directed, produced by myself, everything. Um, we're going to hopefully get a Christmas release. Next weekend, I'm shooting the final scene and then on to the editing process. So hopefully within a 6-week period, I'm thinking that should be ample time to give my editor, to give him time without rushing things. But yeah, so I'm really, really praying for something spectacular. It's going to be my very first endeavor. This is my first speaking role. Um, I was actually trained on the set with Lorenz Tate. Shout out to the Tates and the whole Tate family from Chicago. Because honestly, if it wasn't for that experience, I really got to see what it was like, and then even to be able to pull him aside for a few minutes and ask him personally different things. And initially I was just showing up just to hang out, just to be there. So that turned into showing up every day for 7 days in a row. And it just, like I said, that was, if I could have went to film school for 10 years and not got that training that I got in that 7-day period with the hands-on. It was just phenomenal. So with that, I still was trying to develop, my script. My initial story was just kind of a semi-autobiographical story about my DJ experiences, but I didn't have what's called a shootable script, like something anybody else would care about, quite frankly. So I put, with certain life experiences came into play to interrupt it, which was my Sound Clash career. I've won 7 Sound Clash competitions. So I have 7 trophies. Actually made history for being the first West Coast DJ to clash in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was so I did that. And then I won the very first Los Angeles Rumble Sound Clash, 2005. Then I defended my title in 2006. Then I won another East Coast versus West Coast in 2007.
Oh,
So, yeah. And I was also touring with the reggae artist Shinehead. Big up to Shinehead, my good friend Shinehead for years. So we did Japan a couple times.
wow.
I've worked with Sister Nancy, reggae artist, Half Pint, so just different shows, during my Sound Clash competitions. So that, needless to say, derailed me from the film. But, I started just still kind of toying around with the script. I mean, I swear I've done easily 20 rewrites where, from scratch, where just throwing the whole thing away after the first draft took 8 years and just start over. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so this has been the most difficult project I've ever done in my career, but the bigger the challenge, the bigger the reward.
Very true.
So you mentioned you're from the West Coast. Where exactly are you from, West Coast?
Actually, I'm from the Chicago area.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm from the Midwest. So I'm come from a family of musicians. The great Nat King Cole actually was very close to our family. He would come over. My grandmother would cook her famous fried chicken for him. He would sneak over to her house after his shows. And so, music has always been kind of part in our family. One of my cousins is a famous drummer from back east, and it was in the blood. And in the 4th grade, I started playing the drums, and then I was going to play the cello. But then but then I just didn't have the discipline at that age, for the lessons.
Oh, okay. So, but you did conquer the drums.
Well, actually, not for that. What happened was coming home from school, one of my good friends, and this was 80, we'll just call it 86 or so, 80, 85, 86. So he's one of the first DJs in high school that had turntables. Went into his house and he just started cutting it up, scratching. I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It was a wrap. It was done. It was a wrap. I was just sucked into the matrix.
That was life-changing.
Yeah, it was a wrap. I wrote about. I have a book out. I wrote a DJ memoir that I published, and that's where I talk about that. That changed me. That one instance, done.
That's dope.
Yeah. So the movie has always been film, and with all that music, film has really been my major love. I never really knew it, but this is my calling. So I took my first acting class, nailed it, and the way that I'm playing this role is how I play myself in real life. So it's gonna come across real, and believe it or not, the entire film is improvised.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even have the script on set or the storyboard, which is I broke every rule of filmmaking.
Wait. Let me ask you something. What was the turning point that made you feel like film was it? Like there had to be like a moment where you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is it for me.
Oh, when I'm standing there talking to Lorenz Tate, just chopping it up about a movie he was in with Vin Diesel, and then he just walks away, and I'm just standing there, just like deer in the headlights. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I knew. I said, "Oh, okay, yeah."
You're like, I want this. This is for me.
Yeah, and it's not even the money thing, because I can't even think about anything until I have a good film. Right now I'm just trying to make a quality movie.
So,
Love it.
what about Wheels of Steel is different than every other hip hop movie that's out there?
Well, actually, I wouldn't really even call it a hip hop film. It just so happens that hip hop is his life. So I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into a juice right off the bat, because that's the only thing where you really see extensive DJing. So this movie is about vinyl records, turntables, the essence. Like I'm going deeper than the superficial. I'm going the culture, where it comes from. So that's what.
So around what year is the film set in?
Right now.
Oh, okay. So you're not packing around your turntables in the back of your car and scratching out the name of your record so the other DJs won't steal them and all of that stuff.
Yes, actually I am. I mean, yes. Actually, to be honest with you, I am still to this day a vinyl DJ. I toured Japan.
Oh, wow.
I toured Japan 3 times.
Wow.
Hawaii 11 times. Mexico, Canada with vinyl, solely with vinyl.
That is special.
I don't even know how to use Serato.
When did you get your first gig?
That was, I would say, San Diego, about 91.
91.
Yeah, that's when it really started to jump off.
Did you go as in DJ JFX, or was that a transition?
It's always been that. And then what happened was I was living in San Diego and I got laid off, which was the best thing that could happen. They said, you can stay here in San Diego, find a new job, or here's $1,500 to move to Orange County to come with us. So I chose the Orange County.
Good choice.
Because of being the proximity to LA.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got up there, it just forest fire. You know, when I got to with my people, shout out to the B Junkies, Mr. Chalk, J Rock, and Babu Redmatic. That's all my family, and DJ Truly out of the heavyweights, and they were on Power 106. Excuse me, I'm gonna grab some water. So they were on Power 106. Okay, 1 second. So we shout out to the Fantastic Four show on Power 106, Los Angeles. And I would just kind of show up to hang out with the fellas. But what I started doing was bringing reggae artists, Spraga Benz, Buju Banton, Ika Mouse. And the host really, wasn't as versed with patois, the Jamaican language, as I am, because I learned it through the sound clash business of being in the reggae world, reggae sound clash battles where you have to talk the mic and learn the patois. So they just threw me on the radio in front of 1 million people to do the interviews with the reggae artists, and it just snowballed.
So for people who's not familiar with sound clash, can you describe it?
Yes, it's when DJs battle, they play reggae songs or now hip hop. Partly because of me as well. I'm having the hip hop artists do it as well. And all the songs have to have your name in it. So you have to go to these artists, throughout the world, pay them to go to the studio, sing their songs over with your name in it for the competition. It's really kind of a ridiculous hobby if you really think about it, because the amount of money that you spend and you never recoup, it's really just for the prestige.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
That must have been exciting.
Very much so, because like I said, it can literally, because my name is now known around the world for that. I mean, you can't say West Coast and Sound Clash and my name doesn't come up right behind it. So that's humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
what was one of your memorable moments like DJing?
I would say DJing for Sister Nancy, what a bomb, and we opened up for Stephanie Mills and Jeffrey Osborne.
Nice.
Oh wow!
Downtown LA in front of it's on YouTube in front of maybe 5,000 people. It was ridiculous. And then when the song came on, the people just lost it. So shout out to Muma Nancy. Yeah. So definitely that and also Vancouver. The biggest gig, one of my first gigs was Vancouver.
How was that crowd in Vancouver?
Phenomenal. It was 1,500 people on the dance floor, all vinyl, taking the risk of a record skip with 1,500 people, so that's kind of daring,
Yeah.
But it's all about having good needles at that point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all about those needles. So like I said, film this is just it. And when people see what I'm capable of doing in the film industry, I'm just adding on to the contribution, but I'm adding on in a very different way. It's like I said, it's I just want to, if I could just get it, and that's the reason why I didn't just shop the script. I could have just sent the script around. Impossible that it would have came out just exactly like how I wanted. I mean, I couldn't even find. I started interviewing actors for the lead back in 2004. I interviewed Juilliard trained actors. It just was just unauthentic. I had to do it myself. There's just no way I couldn't have expressed what I wanted. I would have been there all day.
So, how do you think? What role do you think reggae played in the development and advancement of hip hop?
Well, Kool Herc was Jamaican descendant. Brought it from the Jamaica to the Bronx, 100%. I mean, that's the existence. Which is why I'm incorporating hip hop artists, if you just saw the verses with KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, I literally can take credit for being one of the people responsible. You know, I was personally in the studio with KRS-One, teaching him, you know, telling him, explaining him, you know, what I wanted and, you know, how to voice the dub plate. And I know I was the first one for a fact. Shout out to Big Daddy Kane, my brother, taught him, you know, how to do dub plates. And now all the reggae artists are starting to call the hip hop people to incorporate them. You know, I just recently did a dub plate session with Montel Jordan. Shout out to my brother Montel.
Oh,
Jordan.
wow.
And he just did like probably 100 dub plates. DJs all over the world are playing his song now. When ASAP Mob, shout out to ASAP Mob, when they were in the big sound clash, the Red Bull, you know, their team reached out to me, and I, you know, so it's a beautiful marriage, hip hop and reggae.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You really can't have one without the other almost.
So, you know, in the beginning, the DJ was the main focus in hip hop, right?
Correct. Yes.
So, as they faded to the background, the MC became the main attraction. Almost disappearing kind of altogether. Why do you think that shift happened?
Oh, I know exactly why it happened. There's no question, 100%. What happened was, you have a big show. Say if you have a big show at whatever your biggest arena is, and what city are you in, by the way?
I'm in Texas.
Oh, okay, Texas. Okay,
yeah.
All right. My cousin was a wide receiver for the Cowboys, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So but so like say if you have a, you know, Dallas Arena or whatever, and you really can't. There came to a point where, you know, you can't take the risk of a needle skip at that point. And what happened was, okay, CDJs came into play, but what really did it was when what's called controllers. It was a digital box, a white box, and the controllers came in, which was the first kind of digital way to store all the instrumentals, where the DJ literally just pressed the button. He never had to worry about a skip, because even a CD, you have to worry about skips, right? If a CD gets scratched, it literally, you're done. You throw it in the garbage. Blu-ray, DVD, all of them. All of those three, if it has a scratch, it's done. No wipe. Records, I've had scratches in records that I was able to manipulate, wipe out, and certain needles can play through them, and you can still salvage the record to an extent. Digital forms, no, it's a wrap. But when that controller came in, it just was like, okay, MCs was like, well, damn, I can have the sound man up there pressing the button to turn to the next track. There's nothing, you know, why am I paying this DJ out of my money? I mean, you know, let's keep it 100, you know? So then it just was a slow progression to where, I mean, you really just didn't need a DJ unless if you just wanted that finesse, like a Run DMC, where they're always going to have Jam Master Jay doing the live scratches because they understand the essence and, you know, just how hip hop should be. But then I think it also just became to a financial thing. I mean, you know, you're saving the flight of having to fly another DJ out, his per diem, his hotel, all of that, just because you could just have the sound man play the instrumentals. So and the band is even more expensive. So it just depends on how much the group loves the genre to keep it going at the end of the day.
I miss it so much. I miss going to a Run DMC concert and have Jam Master Jay, and just, I mean, it would be a whole like half hour of him just DJing. And
Right.
you know, I miss that. I love what you do. It is a skill. It's more than pushing a button, and
Right.
it should be honored. And so I really appreciate that you're coming on and talking about how much it took to just do what you do, because a lot of people think, oh, he's just playing some records, but
Right.
no, it's a whole skill with it. And Just you talking about the different needles.
Right.
A lot of that goes over so many people's heads that they don't even understand that part of it. And that's a basic part of it. So what would you say to somebody who's being introduced to DJing? What gems could you give them with for someone who's just started?
Well, it's, I mean, right off the bat, because it's my love, you want to say start with vinyl, at least learn that part of it, learn that craft. I mean, out of respect of the genre, because you're really disrespecting the genre of calling yourself a DJ, and if you've never touched a record, it's quote, you can just quote me on that as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed.
It didn't, there was no vinyl, nothing was around but records. I remember going, and I talk about this in my book, going into the record store, just starting off and going to the hip hop section, and there wasn't anything even. I would just buy whatever was in the hip hop section. You couldn't even play it and listen to it. There were no MP. You just bought it just because it was hip hop. I didn't play any of the, and there would be times you would come in there a week, and then it just was a slow progression. But to come from that era of where the music was that young is to now where it's literally a new album out every single day. Well, billions of albums probably out every day. It's hard to even keep up with the new artists, even as a disc jockey. You have to wait till the songs like really, really bust and catch your attention almost. But yeah, so to answer your question, vinyl would be to start off with. Vinyl would be the way to do it. I mean, out of just respect. Shout out to the Beat Junkies. They have the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound here in Los Angeles, and it's a school that teaches DJs how to DJ on vinyl and teaches them the right way to learn.
That's dope. I like that.
So Beat Junkies Institute of Sound. Anybody can go online, and that's official. Like if you really want, like to do it the right way, that's like Yale.
So I think the Beat Junkies are so underrated.
Yes, they are.
As far as I'm concerned. Tell people how special the Beat Junkies really were.
I mean, well, are to this day. I mean, shout out to J Rock, Melody, Redmatic, Shortcut, Havoc, Curse. All of them. J Rock, the Funky President. That's my brother for life. I mean, you know what I'm saying, that's my ride or die right there, for sure. So yeah, they have done. I mean, it's like specifically J Rock. I have to say, has done a lot on a personal basis. So I would like to first thank him from the bottom of my heart. We early 2000s. I mean, getting us together in the club was a problem. I mean, definitely. I'll say this. I'll go on record by saying this. The way that we played dancehall reggae in commercial Los Angeles clubs, nobody there. It wasn't done at that time, and we were playing a lot of the new reggae, the Green Sleeves compilations and stuff that would come out, and a lot of the DJs in that area gravitated to that and kind of took our style and did that. But we are definitely responsible for bringing a hardcore aspect of dancehall reggae music to the commercial LA scene, without question. But Beat Junkies instrumental, representing vinyl, representing competitions, everything. Like I said, it's kind of like Voltron. We felt like Voltron. Like the Wu-Tang say. You get us together, it's a wrap. We did got to play with J Rock the last time I think I played with him publicly was the release party for Stephen Marley, his album that came out a couple years ago. So shout out to them. And so it's, and actually in speaking with with part one of their team, they were saying how amazing it was that it was me, someone from what they consider in the fold, in the crew, in the circle, to be doing this groundbreaking film. And as a matter of fact, they're represented because, not to give anything away from it, but you will see Beat Junkies representation in my film.
I love it.
You best believe that.
Oh yeah, I'm
Please
so
believe it.
excited
Please
because
believe it.
I think they're another set that really needs a documentary
Yes.
because they touched hip hop in so many ways, and people are just they just don't know it.
I mean,
They
they're the generals of the West, and you can't take that back. So, like I said, shout out to them again, and you will be definitely seeing that. And they're helping me as well. You know, it's a family affair with this project. It's like, even though this is my first film, I'm coming into this game well versed with the marketing knowledge and the
Mhm,
business knowledge. A lot of first time filmmakers, you know, of course, they want to do a film as their first time, but not only are they learning the film business, they're having to also learn the marketing and the business, which I've mastered it. I've got 20 PhDs in that. I've been doing it for so long. It's ridiculous. I mean, I was
mhm,
the greatest, A&R at a label and things like that. But this is just something that is just going to completely bring my legacy 360 degrees. That's really what I'm looking forward to do, to be
Well,
honest.
what message do you want to send with this? What do you want people to take away from this documentary?
Well, actually, it's an original story, and actually, I'm glad you said that, because there's really only been just that. Think about how many hip hop documentaries that. Where's the original stories where you're taking a story that comes from nothing? See what I'm saying? So that's great segue for that, because
mhm.
the original story, and people are going to see it at that, which is why they're going to have to give me my respect.
Right. Okay.
Simple as that. I mean, it took literally over 20 years to just. I mean, I had writer's block, decade, 10 years, just you know done. I was like, okay, I really didn't know where this was going, and then one day I literally I remember the morning I woke up with the thought of, this is how I'm going to end this film, and it's gonna work. I mean, you're going to feel this character's plight, because like I said, I can't. You couldn't. And the thing about it, I've been doing a lot of research, and they said some of the greatest films are improvised. You give. There's no way on God's earth I could have written what was portrayed. There's no way. I just,
Mhm.
I gave the direction. Like when you see the making of, once all the smoke clears, I literally just had my cell phone set aside because I didn't even have the staff uh,
Mhm.
recording the making of, to see my direction. My
Mhm.
direction is just, honestly, one thing I learned is I think I like directing more than anything else. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm having people coming in and I'm making them see my vision. I'm making them do what I want them to do.
You're bringing your ideas to life, and
Yeah.
everybody's a part of it, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And for me to do it, and when they nail it, I mean, a lot of my shots are one take. Just
Mhm.
people are coming in and freaking nailing it, except for the one take when my supporting actor tried to show off and he kind of did a little bit more than me. I said, no, we're doing that shit over, because this is my movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm Denzel in this one, so we're gonna do this over. And I honestly had to just show him up a little, and I told him too. I said, "You're not showing me up in my movie." You know what I mean? Cut. Let's do that again. So I'm just saying, I had fun with it, and you're gonna see. I just, it's a natural progression. Um, but I just honestly, when I think about it, there's no way I would have been able to duplicate what I've accomplished. There's just no way. I went with it. It was a vibe. The Lord blessed me. You know what I mean? And but there's no way I would be, especially in Los Angeles. You have to pay. I don't even drive anywhere now. You have to park. You have to pay everywhere.
Oh my
So I
God.
just walk. I say, you know what? Just walk. So anyway, what I'm saying is, what I would want, what I'm trying to portray is originality, just to show people how original someone can be for a first time filming. I want people to come away from this and go, well, damn, what else has he done? Where you can't tell I'm as green as I really am. I'm more green.
Is there like a soundtrack with this movie, with the documentary?
Oh, no. It's the soundtrack is ridiculous. I started the soundtrack in 2019. It's literally taken me 3 years. I still have about 3 songs left. 1 second. So the soundtrack features the phenomenal Greg Nice of Nice and Smooth. Shout out to Nice and Smooth. I have Sadat X, the great Sadat X of Brand Nubian. I have the great.
You got Nice and Smooth into this.
I have the great.
You got me over here clapping, and I ain't even heard it yet.
You said Nice and Smooth.
And then I have the great. I have the great.
Butterflies in my stomach.
How about I have the Far Side. Big up to Fat Lip.
What?
I have an amazing. Oh, she's just so amazing. Her name is CeCe Rain. Shout out to CeCe Rain and G Baby. So she was in the studio because I here's the thing. If anybody ever follows my career, I said this to somebody the other day. One thing about me, on my mixtapes, everything, I always make sure to have female representation. To me, because the strength of female is something that it's just, that's just where it starts from. And over the years in hip hop, making the mixtapes, I would listen to mixtapes, and then, that's when I was doing them on cassette, and, it was the hardcore New York mixtapes. But I would just make sure to go out of my way to have like a Bahamadia track or like a Raw Digga track or something, just to have, and then I was known, my super claim to fame is my Sade mixes. I would do Sade over a hip hop beat.
What? Okay.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm a big Sade fan.
Yes, I just actually did one just recently because people were asking me to do it again. So
okay, can you send me that?
Yes.
Yes, please send that to SP. Please.
Please send that to me, please.
Yes. So that's what I was known for. And this was like 95 when I started all this. 94, I want to say. So
can I get those two? Thank you.
No, I'll definitely send it to you. I just did it recently. I just did it live.
Soundtrack's gonna be lit, okay?
So and actually, CeCe Rain is related to the OJs. So
okay.
So she comes from that lineage. I have my niece, Stevie Simone, which is phenomenal. This is her debut. My nephew, Kurf, shout out to Kurf. His song is done. Dr. Oop, shout out to Dr. Oop and DJ Truly Odd. DJ Truly Odd was part of the Fantastic Four show with J Rock and Mr. Chalk of the Beat Junkies. So I have his representation. I wanted to have, and J Rock of the Beat Junkies on the track with Sadat X. So I wanted to have scratching and, and cuts. It's also shout out to ED. I have 2 reggae songs, ED, and also I have an artist named Mellow Bonton. Shout out to Mellow Bonton. ED actually has been doing several films. He's in a film that everybody should see immediately called Out the Gate. I want you to check Out the Gate.
It's out already?
It's on Amazon, and I believe it's everywhere. So Out the Gate.
I'm writing that down.
That movie.
Out the Gate.
That features the great Paul Campbell. Shout out to Paul Campbell from the movie Shatas with Spraga Benz and Kamani Marley.
It's Out the Gate.
That is amazing. You see, everybody's been in this pandemic. I have watched History of the World so many times that I don't know what to do. And I've watched Hell Up in Harlem so many times. I don't know what to do. I needed something new to watch. Yes. You just gave it to me.
No, seriously. And that's my brother. Shout out to ED. It's E-DEE. And he's phenomenal. He has a song. I want everyone watching this to go to YouTube and type in ED, and it's E-DEE, and he has a song called Revolution. That song just blew up for him, and also representing he's Jamaican born, but out of Los Angeles. He represents Los Angeles. So to have him part of my project as well, he was actually the first song I recorded. It's been probably 2 years since that song has been done. And also Mellow Bonton, shout out to Mellow Bonton. He has a song out right now that's doing very well. But yeah, everybody watch Out the Gate. I have to say that movie inspired me as well. That was his first film, his first speaking role and appearance. I'm working on my second film right now. While I'm finishing this, I want to do a series of DJ related films. The next one is Jamaican related, called Soundboy, which would hopefully feature ED. And I'm talking to my good friend, the dancehall superstar. Shout out to Mr. Vegas, who agreed to be part of the project. So
wow,
this will be something that would be a bigger budget, going to Jamaica to film. I may be in it, but this is actually a done project as well. It's done here. I'm just gonna put it on paper. So my next film for sure is gonna be Soundboy, following up to Wheels of Steel, a DJ related film, but this is in the Jamaican reggae genre mixed with, the DJing thing.
So let me ask you, you're giving us all these dope films to watch. What films inspired you during your making of Wheels of Steel?
Easy question to answer. I have to say, Judas and the Black Messiah blew me away. Just for the two brothers to both be nominated for Best Actor in this. Or best supporting, and then won. The performances. Honestly, I have to say I took a page out of their book, with just giving it to people. You just got to give it to them, and it's like to show people what you're made of. How better a way to write a film, produce a film, direct a film, everything from scratch. No one has any idea where I'm going with this story except the few people that are privy to it. I'm treating this like George Lucas with his next Star Wars film, where I'm not giving them nothing. If you want to see the film, watch the pay-per-view. You're going to see the whole film. There's no need for me to release a trailer. If I release the trailer right now, there's no way you're not going to want it. Simple as that. So I'm just not going to make people wait and go through all that. I'm just going to give it to them. I would love to do a Christmas release. It's going to be a major, once it's, the hopefully in 2 weeks, I'm shooting for 3 weeks. The editing process starts, then it'll be the blitzkrieg of promotion. I already have the website hosting set up, ready to go to host the film. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be a one-time pay-per-view. And after that, I'm going to wait for the phone to ring.
Well, I hope you'll come back and maybe do a live with us before you drop your film so we can get the masses in to watch it, because I think we really should support each other, and especially Black filmmakers, because there's so few and it's so hard to kick down those doors in order to get stuff made.
Right.
So I really hope you come back, because I was so excited about this film, and I was so excited to talk to you about it. And I really hope you come back before you drop the film and talk with, let's try to get the word out, because I really think this is a project that everyone should watch.
Yes, thank you so much. And to your point, I'm really not. I love the hip hop crowd, I love the reggae crowd, but I'm targeting this to people. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
This is it's filmmaking. You don't want to. Well, my philosophy, I would never want to alienate a certain genre of people from anything that I do in life, but especially for my debut film. And plus, this is saying so much. It's gonna, I know there's a certain core audience of this that is probably literally, going to be in tears. Right now, I'm just going for length. This is my last scene, so this is going to be, pivotal. The scene that I shoot next week, and just to get it to that point, it's just I wake up every day. It's like a film within a film, which is my life right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
It really is. It's like I'm driving up and down Santa Monica now. I just, I mean, to uphaul my life and move, which wasn't, of course, moving is never cheap from relocated from San Diego to LA in the middle of filming. I was in the middle of filming and I'm finishing the film in LA and I'm still, starting a new job and in training, all that, working from home. So,
how do you balance all of that? How do you balance all this going on?
Weed.
I hear that.
That's a good way to do it.
I'm just saying.
Natural medicine. Okay.
Gotta be honest.
Are you open to using other platforms for your documentary or any upcoming projects?
Well, actually, it's I just want to see. I was just recently, and this is the thing about it is my film, and once again, it's an original story. The reason it's giving me more power, more strength, is because it's an original story. It's giving me more options. So now, because of so many years of so many people in music industry, there also is a tie into the film industry. So I really don't know, where this is going to go. I'm just going to kind of start high, shoot high, as if this is not a low budget independent situation,
happens.
But yeah, I'm just going to see what happens.
I mean, the reason I'm asking that question is because not too long ago, I jumped into a live with Dame Dash. You know Dame Dash, right?
Yeah.
So somebody jumped in and he was talking to them. They said, I have this idea for this movie. And he was like, send it to me and I'll put it on my network. He seems to be really open to putting more artists on his network. I don't really, I'm not connected with them at all, but it was interesting to see how he's allowing more people to just, hey, if you have a great idea, if you have a documentary, if you have a movie, a video, send it to me and I'm putting it on my network.
Yeah, that's true. It's just me personally, whatever money will be going to Dame Dash, I kind of want that money right now.
Right?
You know what I mean? So to your point, so the way that I'm doing this, you know what I mean, it's kind of I just want to kind of see, I'm like I said, I'm gonna start high and kind of work my way down.
And it's your baby. It's your baby.
And like, but to your point, I want to touch on that point on the human factor, and shout out to Dame Dash, everything. I got to spend a evening with Jay-Z, and it was, he was on the radio show, and he ended up hanging out for like, the whole evening. He just was hanging out. And one of my good friends, kind of went up to him and, asked him, I want to work with you, and if we can do something. And Jay-Z just put out his phone. Okay, here's my number. It wasn't like call my manager or hey, his manager. He's like, here, this is my number to myself. You call me direct. We'll talk about it. And then if I need you, so that's dope. And I think to your point, going back to the key word, okay, filmmaking is stepping it up. Anyway, I mean, honestly, I put out, my very first record I put out 1999. Shout out to Mo Nice, DJ Mo Nice, my first vinyl, and I only pressed up 700 copies. Back in those days, there was no MP3 to mail out. I had to mail physical, and I'm giving away my product, which was not cheap, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mailed it. So anyway, I ended up mailing a copy to a record store in Japan, and they bought the entire box. They sent a truck the next day and picked it up. So
good on picking up music. Let me tell you something.
Yeah. So the whole thing is that, the point I'm making is the game has changed so much now, and it's really, honestly, it's kind of going back to COVID. People want, like a Dame Dash, they want originality, and there's not a lot of brothers making films. So, so actually Black and the word film kind of carries a little bit of weight. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all races. But because our people, I can speak from a Black perspective because I am Black, and our people have stories and experiences that have not yet to be touched. What's going to happen is people, I'm not saying this is, do the right thing. Shout out to Spike Lee.
Mhm.
I'm not saying, but what I'm saying is this is something that is groundbreaking, for what it is. And I'm just putting my professional polishing touches on it to get the respect that it deserves is where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? Because this, the way that I'm telling this story, there's no one capable of telling the story on God's green earth. I swear to you. And I just didn't want to disrespect myself by just sending in my idea and somebody running with it, ruining it, because that's exactly what would have happened.
I appreciate that.
So you wrote this you wrote this screenplay, but you have a background in writing. You have a background in
Yeah.
writing articles for some major publications. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I probably had about maybe close to 100 articles published. I had my own column, and shout out to the Wonder Twins in New York. They had a hip hop magazine that would go out to called the Connects List, and they would physically press it up. It was a dope little magazine, and they would send it to all the record labels and record industry, and it would connect people. It would have like DJs, all their fax numbers, and back when the internet was still blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
I had a column called Live from the SoCal, where I would just talk about what's going on in Southern California from LA, but then I would just incorporate other things, but really it was so much hip hop. And I had that column in various magazines across the world. But the biggest publication, if you remember, a magazine called Herb, spelled URB, it was a big magazine. I had a full page story in that one. That was the biggest.
Oh, okay. On what?
It was on a good friend of mine named Kevin the Blade Gordon, and I did an interview with him. He had a record out called Chop Shop Records. It was a breakbeat record and did very well. So I did a story on him because he was on fire at that time. So shout out to Kevin the Blade Gordon. So
DJ,
yes.
DJ, can I ask you a question? So
yes.
Sorry, I didn't know you were still talking. Finish what you saying.
Yes. So like I said, so that's what really got it started. And then I wrote my book during COVID as well. And my book was titled Wheels of Steel, but that snowballed into the film. But I wanted to kind of tell my original story to the people that didn't know, which I'm getting ready to re-release my book because I had like 1 billion errors that I missed. So I just spent a bunch of money and I just gave it out. But
I'm gonna look out for that book. Wheels of Steel.
Yeah. I'm gonna have make sure I get you guys copies and everything. So as soon as this film is done, shout out to my twin Jen, my twin sister is she's gonna be gracious enough to edit it for me and make sure I didn't miss nothing in this go around because I really don't want to spend the money I spent to press it up again. It's like I started reading it, the first paragraph, one typo, and I just oh my god.
You can self-publish it on Amazon. Boom.
Proofreading.
Yeah, I know, but and honestly, I'll be honest with you, writing that damn book was harder than doing this whole film.
People don't think how hard it is to write, but
I would never do it again. I wouldn't even recommend it. I would never recommend it. Don't ever do it.
Oh, you have to do it again because your life is too rich not to.
Well, actually, I'm just going to add on.
People want to hear your story.
Yeah. I'm just going to add on to what happened because the Wheels of Steel was just manifesting when I finished the book. So I'm just going to add what happens, because honestly, it would be an ongoing. I would never honestly be able to publish it because it's always something ridiculous happening in my life. But
another biography.
Like it's just
volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. Just keep going.
Right. But honestly, what I want to do is follow up Wheels of Steel with Soundboy. Since I've already got, a tentative agreement, and I think I may have a nice, I have access to a budget for this, and this will be me being, this would be an easier, much easier ride for me than having to do all the. I mean, I have to just tell you, it's just like the shots. It takes me an hour to set up everything. I have to set up everything. The shots are over instantly, and then everybody leaves. Peace, JFX. and I'm just there. I got to break the whole breakdown takes like another hour, and I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah, I see now.
The price you pay
Yeah.
for doing the things you love.
You know, somebody, one of my friends that was helping me said, you got to really love this shit, yo, because it's, you know, it's ridiculous. He was seeing what I was doing, and it was just me, you know, by myself. Set design, you know, wardrobe department. You know, it's like, okay, I need to call the wardrobe department. I just go look in the mirror. You know what I mean?
And you're just in the beginning. This isn't even over yet.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that is over is me doing all this by myself. I will never do this again, and you can quote me on that.
All right.
I mean, as far as doing the physical, I'm doing everything. I just wanted, you know what? I just wanted the experience of filmmaking. You know, there's no way I would have went. There's no school that could have taught me what I learned. I literally, YouTube was my teacher all night, every day, thinking, okay. I mean, I bought, you know, the camera. I've never had any formal training. I never went to any film school. You know, I bought the camera. Literally, the camera sat for 2 weeks just looking at me like, okay, you know, you're gonna turn it on. Like, it took me literally 2 weeks to figure out how to turn it on. And now I'm doing, like, you know, we were talking earlier, Stanley Kubrick type shots. You know, it's like, you know, you're gonna be able to tell which shots were mine. Please believe it.
But that's okay, because you're inspiring people that are following in, you know, in your legacy, that maybe feel like they don't have, you know, the courage or, you know,
yeah, that's true,
to move forward. But seeing that, you know what, you took the leap anyway. That's the impact that you're having on people that are following in your footsteps. They're like, you know what, this guy just went for it. I'm gonna just go for it. I'm gonna get a camera. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. You gotta start somewhere, and it's okay to fail. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to fail forward, but you're doing something, and then eventually one day you're like, wait a minute, look, I got it all under control, right?
I mean, and honestly, that, and then just the death, and you know, that people checking out. It was, you know, these last 2 years have been ridiculous on COVID. Turning up, I mean, and it's like major people. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I'll be damned if I'm checking out, if it's my time or whatever happens, without leaving something. You know, when Chase Infinite, shout out to Chase Infinite of Self Scientific, he said it in one of his rhymes. It's not what you do, it's what you leave behind. You know what I mean? So I'm leaving something behind to where I don't care if I check out as soon as it's released, because I know that this is my legacy, and it's a visual, what I'm leaving the people to remember me by. I don't care if I do anything else in life, to be honest with you. That's what I'm putting into this project.
Love it.
Dope. So I'm going to circle back around a little bit to hip hop, because I just wanted to know, how did you meet up with the X Clan initially, and how did you end up working with them currently?
Well, and I told Brother Jay this when we first met. I said, my name JFX is because I was such a just avid X Clan fan growing up. I mean, you know, 1987, the day after high school graduation, my dad, you know, rest in peace, George Nealon, asked me, what do you want for your graduation present? And this is in the halls of the high school, right after I was still in my cap and gown. I said, a one-way ticket to San Diego. The next morning, I was on a plane to San Diego. I never even been inside the airport by myself with whatever I could carry. And that's what got it started. And my brother, who I ended up hooking up with, Alan Woods, rest in peace, DJ Alan Woods, the first DJ I met, gave me that name because I was so much into X Clan. You know, I was killing him with it. He was like, bruh, come on, man. Like, he loved it too, but I was, you know, like really hardcore X Clan me. And he said, man, you have to have an X in your name. So that's when he came up with my name, JFX. He said, your name is Jeff. You know, you're on the X Clan thing. You got to have an X in your name. He was also into the Nation of Islam. And, you know, he would take me to buy the bean pies and the fish sandwich. You know, shout out to the Fish Connection, San Diego. You know, and that's what it started. And that's what happened. And then I met Brother Jay. Brother Jay was in Los Angeles. We ended up meeting. It was just a natural progression. Once we did our first show together, which is on YouTube, we did a show with Public Enemy. Who else was on that show? It was Kid Frost, the Lady of Rage, the Dog Pound. It was a Skid Row for the Skid Row people, and it was outdoors. I'll make sure I'll send you that footage. And that was one of the first real shows. And then it just snowballed. And I hosted the last X-Clan album. It was a mixtape, Underground Scrolls Volume 2. And I hosted that for him. And since then, because of COVID as well, I've pretty much have produced, and the next mixtape for him, I produced about 12 songs while I was producing the tracks for Wheels of Steel for Brother Jay. And the songs, you
got busy during COVID.
No, that literally was all I was
busy.
Yeah. Everybody, a lot of people was learning how to cook bread, and you was cooking tracks.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was. It's the most production I've ever done. I mean,
You know what? I feel that.
Yeah.
It was a perfect time too.
Yeah, it was a perfect time. So, my mom always said, you can say what you want to do in your life. You can talk all day. God is going to sit back and laugh. At the end of the day, I mean, it's like, I know when people see this, like, this is my accomplishment. I want to accomplish one thing, especially to the major industry. And this is another story I talk about in my book. What really made, honestly, going back to your initial question, a turning point, way before meeting Lorenz Tate. One time I got a call totally out of the blue from some company, and I didn't know who they were. They wanted me to put together a reggae mix for them to promote one of their projects. And I said, cool, let's talk. So it ended up being one of the subsidiaries. It was of Paramount Pictures. So they said, okay, come and do lunch. Here's the address. So I'm driving like, wait a minute. So I'm on Melrose, and I turn into the Paramount lot. I go to lunch with them. We sit down. I look to my right, and it's Leonard, the legendary Leonard Maltin from Showtime, the old school guy that reviews all the movies from Bit the Glasses. And he's just sitting right next to me talking to some dude, and it was so surreal because I had nothing to do with the film industry.
It was just unreal. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was just there, some little DJ.
Right.
But I'm going, wait a minute. There's a reason for me to be here. I'm sitting next to Leonard Maltin.
Oh, snap.
And then I'm driving. They're walking me around the Paramount lot. I'm seeing, the little trailers for this is, and I passed by, I forget who it was, somebody famous, ridiculous. One other time I was late for a gig, and the club was on Hollywood Boulevard, right? And I'm late, fashionably late, and
I like that fashion.
Across the street. Well, because of traffic, sometimes you just never know, especially having to get to Hollywood Boulevard.
I heard about that traffic out there. It's horrible.
And I'm not really paying attention. And I'm carrying records. So I have my record bag, and I'm running across the street. Man Chinese Theater, legendary, stepping on people's Hollywood, the stars of fame. And then the security guard almost bump into him, and he kind of pushes me back a little bit. And I'm like, and I didn't really see him. So all of a sudden, right behind him, I see Clint Eastwood, and he walks right in front of me, and he has this like little smirk on his face, like, I know you know who I am. And he's just like kind of laughing. And then the security lets me by. When Clint Eastwood, I literally almost bump into him. So I was like, okay, all right. You know what I mean? So
this is crazy.
I can put the signs together. You know what I mean? I can get the memo. You know what I mean?
That's right. It's all about seeing the signs and making the move when you see them.
So that's where I'm at with it. It's like, I'm in Hollywood. I've literally have relocated and moved to Hollywood to make this happen. It's not, the dreamer. Okay, I'm just gonna. No, I've already, it's cracking. You know what I mean? It's cracking. Now I just need my film to be completed, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna see. As they say in Jamaican, we're gonna see where I go on.
Is there other upcoming projects coming up?
Well, I'm actually releasing the songs. I have 3 more songs, and the soundtrack is done. What I was gonna do is a mini little mega mix, like a YouTube mega mix, and just release the whole soundtrack, all 10 songs, and just do like a mega mix. I want people to be familiar with my music, kind of like everybody was singing "Fight the Power" of Public Enemy walking into the theater for "Do the Right Thing." You know, that song was banging with Public Enemy for, you know, the whole summer before the movie came out. You know, so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm following the footsteps of the OGs and how they, you know what I'm saying, how they did their thing, doing it the right way, not just coming in, you know. I mean, I'm doing it the proper way, following the proper steps.
Yes.
You know,
so you said
yeah.
You said this movie, you wanted this movie to be your legacy professionally, right? But personally, as the man, DJ JFX, the man, what do you want your legacy to be?
You know, just that I represented the genre as Kool Herc invented it. Simple as that. I mean, if you know, is it broke? You know, I mean, I don't need Serato. I mean, I don't, you know, it's funny because what I have to go through, like for instance, any DJ that plays Serato laptop or something, you just go and set it up. You don't have to show up early. You know, DJs come in on the flashy. You guys see it in the club. Oh, DJ so, and they just come in and you see them plugging up their stuff while the other DJs are already playing, and then they just go. You know, with vinyl, you have to sound check like an artist because you get there, all of a sudden you have a major hum because of the stage and the feedback and the needles, and you're done. You can't. It's happened to me where I literally couldn't play and had to give it up to the next DJ. Come on, man. So it's a lot. Like I said, you have to, you know, they have to sound check. Almost
yeah, but in a world that we're living where everything is digital, there are a few artists that are still putting out digital music, but they're still dropping vinyl. Do you think that's something that every artist should adopt, where if you're doing digital, you should still drop vinyl at the same time? Or
I mean, that's a personal preference. And that's an excellent point, excellent question. You know, now, because have you seen cassettes? Cassettes, oh my goodness, cassettes. You know, and
we're back. I didn't know that.
Cassette, they're pressing up cassettes again. And if you look, some of the cassettes, the price of what you can, even remember the CD singles. When you would get a CD of just one song, you'd be like, "What the hell?" And a lot of people threw them out because it was one. Those are some of the most expensive things out right now, going for resale. It's ridiculous. So, to your point, it's a preference, but like I said, I would love. I mean, it's only right for my soundtrack for this to come out on vinyl.
Yeah.
You know, so if I got to do it myself, then I'm, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to happen. If I did the film, I'm damn sure going to do the vinyl.
Yeah, got to.
But like I said, it's a personal preference. But vinyl is outselling every medium of physical music. Quote me on that. Outselling it. Where are CDs at? Everybody was, oh my God, vinyl's done. The CD, blah, blah. Where are CDs at? Go try to find the damn CD.
I blame Eminem for the price of cassettes.
You know, there you go.
He said he collected cassettes, and all of a sudden, I couldn't find any of the cassettes that I wanted anymore, and the prices had just skyrocketed.
It's ridiculous.
Oh
it's ridiculous. There's 1,000. Like for instance, here's a prime example. You know, shout out to Raekwon and the Wu-Tang. But the Raekwon's album, you know, the purple cassette, look what that goes for. I mean, I've seen it over $1,000, $2,000, $3,000.
For the cassette?
Yeah, all day.
Are you serious? I never saw that.
Yep, all day long. It's a whole, because think about it, you know, anyone born past a certain age, that's a lot of this stuff is out of print. It's not ever coming back again. You have no choice but to buy it off of someone else. It's a wrap. I mean,
it's like a collectible now.
Yeah. I've sold stickers for $100.
At the end of your movie, not the movie you're making, but the movie that's that's your life.
Right.
What music should be playing in the background?
Sade, Nothing as Good as the First Time. How about that?
You get brownie points just for that. Just so
How about that?
Yes.
How about that?
Right, SC? I know, SC, you're with me on that.
You get all the
brownie
points for that one.
just for that answer.
Yeah, yeah. And go check the video, the black and white video. She's riding the horse. You know, she has the ponytail. That she honestly, that's the only artist I would honestly in the world be intimidated to meet. You know, I've spent an hour, rest in peace, Notorious B.I.G. I got to spend an hour with Big the last time when he was on the Wake Up Show. I've met some major artists, you know, but shout out to Snoop. I was in the studio with Snoop and different people. But that would be the one artist that I would be on some sweaty palms.
Let me tell you, I saw her in concert and I will never, I bought the shirt. Like, my kids were like, Mom, stop talking about the concert. I can't stop talking about it. It was.
Yeah.
Think about Sade, it takes a lot of presence to be able to just stand in front of a microphone barefoot and sing and still hold the audience as well as she does. You are just mesmerized just listening. You just want to hear. I'm not standing up. I'm just staring and just mesmerized by what she's able to do with her voice.
Oh my goodness.
So that is such an awesome pick.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's like, see, one thing about her career, it's a very personal situation more than your regular just quote unquote fan. Because my DJ career started when her first album came out, and I DJ'd, in a party. Shout out to my amazing sister Jo, my entire family, Joe Val and my twin and my brother. But Joe, I DJ'd a party at her house, and she had that initial album of hers, Diamond Life, and I had never heard Sade, and literally the album had just came out. So after I DJ'd this party, I just literally had that album playing over and over again, flipping it over. So her career culminated as my career culminated. So it's been a very personal thing, specific with her, not just the, physical, beauty and things and that. And the one concert that you saw, that her most famous concert on video, where she's in the gold sequence barefoot, that was in San Diego. I was at that show in the crowd on that DVD, and remember seeing the cameras and everything, because I surprised my sister and took her to that show for her birthday.
Oh wow!
Yes, so it's been a very personal, and another thing too is how she moves as an artist. I mean, you're talking not even 10 albums, but some of the greatest albums in music and history. It's not about quantity. Is the quality of what you do.
It's art.
So it's art. So it's like, I'm not going to have to put out 1 billion films to get my point across. I'm saying I'm going to do one film of just superior quality and originality. Originality is the key. And that's gonna stand true, especially to the people. Like right now is the time. People are tired of the same old stuff. I'm so tired of watching movies with a predictable ending. It's like it's almost wasting your time and disrespectful. You're gonna make somebody, give them, in 45 minutes or an hour of something decent and then lose them at the end. What I want to do is, one of the greatest filmmakers that I look up to is John Carpenter, because if you notice all of his movies, even though it's a different genre of the horror thing, you know, he has a build up. He builds the characters. You know, he makes you give a damn about them. And then at the end, he just gives it to you, no matter what. You know, all of his movies, he has that slow build up, you know, and at the very end, he gives it to you. So there you go.
So, Powerful Impact is the name of the podcast, right?
Yes.
So, who have been the three most influential people in your life? Either, well, both professionally and personally.
Number 1 and 2 is my mother and father. I mean, I can't even, it's just, yeah, that's it. I mean, mother and father. And I would say number 3, only because honestly, if it wasn't for this brother, I wouldn't even be sitting here. My brother, Alan Woods, who was the first DJ that I met when I came to San Diego. And he passed away, you know, years ago. But he was the one that taught me. He gave me my name. You know, I mean, he taught me. I mean, I would take the bus. You know, it would be a 4-hour trip all day, and then 4 hours back on the city bus when I first moved to San Diego, just to practice for 1 hour on his turntables, like that kind of. And then to the roughest part of town, like, you know, I would, you know, shout out to Southeast San Diego. But it was, you know, 1988. I mean, that's Colors. That was when NWA, you know, NWA first came out, and I'm getting dropped off in the epicenter of that. And I didn't even care. I'm like, I'm coming from Chicago. You know, I ain't tripping.
Oh my
you know
God,
I mean?
NWA. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not tripping, but that's what I did early on to get where I'm at, you know. And so definitely my mother, my father, and I would have to say my brother, Alan Woods, from San Diego, you know, who really, you know, because he taught me, he said, until you learn how to master blending, you know, there's some DJs that couldn't blend 2 records, you know, I mean, so, he taught me to fluidly be clean as a DJ, because I just wanted to scratch and I wanted just the finesse. He was like, no, I'm not teaching you none of that until you learn how to mix properly, because I was just train wreck. You know, when a DJ mixes, and I mean, you know, women know you're in the club, DJ is trying to do a mix, and all of a sudden it's off, and you turn around, you're like, what the hell are you doing? So until which is why they call me, you know, I'm you know, the blend master, because for so many years, like I practiced blending, you know, almost like 30 years, even before I even tried to learn scratching. You know, I didn't learn scratching until I got with, you know, shout out to, you know, Truliard and J-Rock. And, you know, we would just, you know, be messing around in the house, and, you know, just to be able to participate. And I you know, I kind of learned scratching, but this was like in the 2000s already. So from the 80s to the 90s, I just practiced how to blend music fluidly. And I never even, some DJs, you know, they beat time their records, and they have, you know, back in the day, they would have, you know, beat counters. So, you know, this record has so many beats per minute. So I never even did that. I would just pick up 2 records and just go improvising, you know, just, you know, I would figure out if they blend within the 2-minute time frame that I had before the next record ran out. So, but that's a God-given talent, you know, and I didn't realize that till later on.
Top 5 DJs.
You know, so yeah, so like I said, vinyl, you know, one of the catchphrase of my movie is Wheels of Steel. My catchphrase, vinyl is final.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Who's your top 5?
Who's your top 5?
Top 5 DJs. Number 1 is myself.
Love that.
Number 2, I wouldn't be a DJ if, you know, but number 2, one of my biggest mentors, rest in peace, Jam Master Jay. Who I got to meet in LA, which was ridiculous. So Jam Master Jay, I gotta also say the Funky President, J-Rock. I mean, Beat Junkies. I mean, he's you know, that's really, you know, that's really one of the best, honestly, of the best that I mean, I like, you know, I'm a you know, an honest fan. You know, I mean, I'm a fan of all DJs, but you know, I'm a fan of that brothers. I mean, 4 and 5. You know, I gotta say, one of the greatest as far as on this super technical aspect. I got it, Mixed Master Mike, Scratch Pickles. I mean, you got to give it to him. I mean, just being an innovator. I got to tour. My first tour out of the country was with Mixed Master Mike. Shout out to Mike for life, my brother. But this was 96 in Vancouver, Canada, with Swollen Members. Got to spend the whole week with them. I got to actually DJ and do cuts on a song for the Swollen Members. Shout out to Swollen Members, which was featured on their album. Although they forgot to mention my name in the credits, but we won't talk about that. But I got to do the cuts for that song on the turntables that, he won, the famous turntables that he won in one of the DJ competitions. So, and then, I got to also say Grandmaster Rock Raider, one of the best. Shout out to that brother. I got to, make his acquaintance. Rest in peace. But yeah, I would say he's one of the best on the technical aspect of it.
Nice.
But, I would be leading that list.
I never hear anybody mention Stone Love. We don't remember Stone Love.
Oh yeah. As far as on the now, because if you're talking, because that's on the hip hop, so if we're talking.
See, I grew up with Stone Love. Stone Love was like my thing.
Shout out to Rory, and if we're talking Stone Love, like.
So she's asking the top 5 reggae, I guess, sound system.
Oh yeah, that's
what she's asking. What are the top 5 reggae sound systems?
Yeah. Well, but I'm still number 1 in that list, so that don't change that.
Boom.
Definitely, Stone Love. I mean, you're talking. I mean, I would have to say my brother for life, the mighty Downbeat, Tony Screw Downbeat, my personal good friend. You got one of my I'm a super huge fan because I'm a solo warrior, just like the great Tony Matterhorn. You got to say Tony Matterhorn. I was lucky enough to clash the great Jack Scorpio in Los Angeles. Big up to Black Scorpio. That was historical. No West Coast sound ever clashed. Black Scorpio, Jack Scorpio, and only lost by one song.
Shout out to Megan Banton.
Hey,
the record. Yes, and rounding off that, Squingy, the greatest selector ever, Bass Odyssey, rest in peace. So yeah,
good choice.
So
good choice.
Is there any shout outs or things you'd like to promote at this?
Yes, Wheels of Steel, and Wheels of Steel. That's
a good thing to promote because I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, that's all. Pretty much, that's my life right now. That's my life right now. I mean, this is my baby. People ask me why I don't have kids because I said, the birth is coming. That's why.
The books and the soundtrack.
Yeah. The book is.
Now I don't want to see you pregnant in a wedding dress on top of an album cover. Now.
Well, let me tell you something. If I end up pregnant, you're gonna see me on the Today Show. That's what you're gonna see me. I'll be on the Today Show live. Okay.
Live and direct.
Ooh. Yeah. I don't think I'll be doing anything else anymore if that happens.
Yo, check out the soundtrack.
I really go ahead, Neville.
So I say, check out the soundtrack, check out the book, check out the movie. Coming to a theater, store, record shop near you.
Yes.
Give them your social media. Give everybody your social medias where they can reach you at.
Yes, because I need about 20,000 more followers on my IG. My IG is, DJ JFX #1 is my IG. That's what I'm using right now. So DJ, and then my Twitter, DJ JFX, DJ_JFX is Twitter. IG DJ JFX #1, and that's the best way to reach me.
Good.
So we'll be doing major promotion.
You have any more questions, Goddess?
Yeah, I had one. Oh, I had one more. Sorry, Goddess. Before you go, Goddess, you go. Let me ask one more question. Then you go. JFX, I wanted to ask this before, but we went on to a different topic when I cut you off.
Yes.
I want to ask this now, and this is kind of a joke, but it is kind of a real question too.
Yeah.
If you had it to do again, because this is something that's been trending, would you take the $500,000, or would you want to have dinner with Jay-Z? There you go. That's been trending on Black Twitter. $500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z. I don't know if you've seen this trend, but it was trending.
I haven't. But since technically I already have had dinner with Jay-Z, there just wasn't any food involved. Give me the $500,000, because what I could do with that would kind of guarantee myself then taking the risk of Jay-Z telling me no.
That's a real answer.
Sitting there eating his dinner.
No, that's a real answer. But I don't even know if like people were saying they would like shop. I guess they just wanted jewels from him. But no, that's a real answer. I respect that. Thank you.
Yeah, because I always think, well, if you having dinner with Jay-Z, what if he just sit there and eat his dinner, and then you out $500,000?
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, because that's like I said, because what I've done with a smidgen of that, so yeah, I would definitely say that. And on top of that, I could turn that $500,000 into $1 million pretty fast. So, And
then he'll be inviting me to dinner anyway.
Oh, yes, because I do have my grandmama's famous fried chicken recipe that she cooked for Nat King Cole. So.
Okay. Now you're gonna have to make a cookbook.
Yes,
I need that recipe. You can't tell me about fried chicken and not
a Southern woman about fried chicken. You can't tell a Southern woman about fried chicken. Yes. It's a wrap now.
Well, I'll tell you this: we cook like we DJ, so it's
a lot of mercy.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna get pregnant around here. So anyway, I just want to know: is there anything else that you wanted to explore? Like, if it wasn't movies, DJing, anything else last that you want to explore, like professionally or personally? You think, if it weren't these things? All right, then I'm done.
What I'm gonna do is what I want to do is I really want to do some more production with my brother Jay. I want to see what kind of mischief I can get into with him. We have some amazing ideas in store. He'll tell you that himself. So brother Jay is my eyes are set on him. After that, after this film thing, I'm going to re-release my book properly, which you guys will definitely get a copy of, and just kind of see what I can do with this second film, if I can come with a strong follow-up, just make some noise, my splash with Wheels of Steel, come right back, with my next project, and then just, see what else the Lord has for me.
Is Soundboy going to be a strictly reggae soundtrack?
I really don't know yet. I'm going to see kind of what happens. If you look at the, maybe I'm, doing a lot, but if you kind of now, I touched on, the American situation. You really only had Juice. You really only had, the little DJ scene in Beach Street. There's really nothing that really delve into the depth of, just that vinyl. And then in the reggae world, what do you have in film? Okay, The Harder They Come, some of the earlier films, you have Shatta's, kind of on the Scarface drug, thing, killing side, but Jamaican people, which Mr. Vegas even said, for someone to do a film on the depth of the sound clash business of the dub play cutting world of voicing artists, and to tell that story in a positive light would do a lot, not only for the Jamaica film industry, just for the whole, just the country, and plus coming from a united, from the US perspective, within that depth of Jamaican culture, nobody has ever done that. So whatever I do, it's going to be groundbreaking, or I don't want to do it.
And I think it's time for a lot of movies to show just Black people in general in a positive light.
Thank you.
Because I always think, people from other countries see these movies, and if that is their only perspective, then of course when they come here, they look look at you sideways because they have no other perspective than what they see in a movie, right?
And look at how we've been portrayed in film for
Yes.
years, and I mean even to this day. So it's like, but think about it. Back in the day, they were shooting on actual film, physical film, which was the most,
Mhm.
ridiculously expensive. So one thing about it, the digital age is almost the age of the people because
Mhm.
it's enabling the people to have strength that they wouldn't have. Our people, as well as any sort of indigenous people, Native American, Asian, anyone that even is in the realm of having a possible, discriminatory situation in Hollywood. Now, you can go around that. It's not like, Hollywood is not like the DUI checkpoint where it used to be. We can go around it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like going around it. Maybe Wheels of Steel is not going to look like it did if Martin Scorsese did it or if Quentin Tarantino's money did it. I was watching the making of Once Upon a Time in America, and I saw a scene where they were with Brad Pitt and they were shooting it. They had the whole Hollywood Boulevard blocked off, and they're driving down the street, and you see, and this big, huge. I mean, just the budget of just that one shot. So what I'm saying is,
Mhm.
but that right there is not going to make a Wheels of Steel. All of that money, all that, you know what I'm saying? I could have, I could have given him my script and he couldn't, being the great director that he has, he's not me. You know what I'm saying? He
Mhm.
doesn't, which is like I said, so this is just a very personal situation. And what I want to do is show people, especially like, in my circle and things that, you know, what you're really capable of if you put your mind to it. I mean, like I said, it was very hard. It's still hard. It's still rough.
Mhm.
But when the smoke clears and when I can finally, the fun part for me, I have to tell you, I wake up every day dreaming of getting those texts from my editor telling me things are coming along well. This shot is great, but what I really, the finished product, was when he goes, okay, I'm getting ready to send it to you. Like that's, when I can just finally sit and watch my work in its entirety. Because I don't even think about it now. I don't even think about what the shots are going to look like. I don't even think
Mhm.
about putting the story together in my head. I'm just going. I don't want to even think about it until I can sit down and watch it in its entirety and just finally take it all in. You know what I mean? But I have a ways to go to yet, but I'm really close to that point, and that's probably the biggest dream that I've had as an artist.
Okay, Miss Goddess, you had a question?
I do. I have a couple of things, but let me ask you a question. How familiar are you with like the NFT space?
The
NFT.
the
Have you
NFT?
heard? Yeah, have you heard about NFT?
No.
Okay. Wow, that's exciting because
Mhm.
I have so much to share.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it brief. All
Yeah.
right. So Facebook recently announced that they're about to change their brand, right?
I saw that to some name with an M.
Right. It's the metaverse. So
Yeah.
basically, the whole virtual reality it's evolving,
Mhm.
right? And the great thing about it is, especially for artists, it's kind of like revolutionary
Mhm.
because now we're going to have the ability, just work with me a little bit with your imagination, right?
Mhm.
Imagine where you can go into a virtual reality and do a concert or create a movie and people are watching that movie, but they're all over the world, but they're in this virtual reality space where it looks like they're in the same space.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole metaverse thing that's happening with Facebook is about to transition to where like artists, whether they're doing movies, music, art, they're actually gonna go into like this digital space where it's anybody can be a part of it.
Mhm.
It's great because for artists like you that are like groundbreaking and that are, you know what I'm saying, that are moving into this space, you're actually going to be able to target people that probably didn't have the ability to see your stuff before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just widening. Yeah, and to your point, now it's to the point of, okay, you have the product. How do you get the people? It's simple. It's just very simple. You have
Right,
to
but now you can take the product into a digital space where like it opens the doors to universal. It's not just like in a limited space. Now all people around the world are like, wait a minute, they're tapped into what you're doing.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And now they're open, they're learning more about what you have to say, your messages and all of that stuff. So I would definitely say to, probably look into that more, because I feel like you are going to make a difference in that space.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And you can also watch Powerful Impact, because we're going to do a whole show
Mm-hmm.
to teach our people, because these are new spaces and new technologies that are opening up all the time, and we are always the last to know, and we are always the last to get on board. So I think it is great that we have all the knowledge that Goddess has.
Oh man,
And
we're not gonna be the last to know anymore. That's over, SB.
that's right. It's time. That is the whole purpose of doing this whole platform, is to change your entire life, because we can change it, because we all have a little bit of information.
Yes.
And
Right.
it just takes us all coming together and sharing it, so that we can all progress and we can all move forward.
Yes.
And that is why I was so happy, and so we hit some rough patches. We've been trying this. We tried it once, then
Yeah.
we tried it twice, but third time's the charm.
Yeah,
So
sure
I'm
was.
so happy that you finally made it on, because someone in the space that you're in, coming from the background that you have, is special. And I think it's information that needed to be shared. And I really, really thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us, because you have had a strong footprint on everything in this culture. And I think it's time people know that.
Yeah. I really honestly agree. And to your point, I just, I've done so much work, music. I've helped so many people. I mean, just other DJs, and things. But, you know, I just, my whole life, I've been driven by, what's the next challenge? Like, the book was the biggest challenge up to that point. And then when I did that, it just was like, okay, it's hard for me to just sit around. I can't. I just can't do it. Like it's a burning. I used to drive my mom freaking crazy as a kid. Because we grew up in an area where it was snow, and just to be able to have to be staying in the house, and I didn't. I had so much. I mean, you can't even. Can you just imagine as a kid? I had so much in me. I didn't even know what to do with it. It was ridiculous. So. My mom had no choice but to just whoop my ass, because she just thought I was just bad. You know what I mean? It's just I just had, it was something burning. And then when with music, that's what did it. When, like I said, so anyway, so thank you. Like I said, thank you so much. And, I'm just really wanting to bring people something different than what they've been getting. I mean, you got all these huge budget movies and all this stuff, and they hype them, and you go into it. Sometimes we don't need all that. We're just looking for, and then on top of that, no one can tell me I'm winning with a feel-good movie. Any genre of any whatever you're doing, if it's a feel-good movie, that's what people want. I mean, there's certain movies that I love, but the ending is just so negative and dark. It's like sometimes I want to come out of a movie with hope.
Yes.
because it's like, I mean, we want to come out of life with hope. It's like,
And in the words of T-Pain, do something else. Do something else.
So it's like I could never tell a dreary story where something there's not a light at the end of the tunnel.
You gotta get hope. You gotta tell a story with some kind of hope. You know what I'm saying? These people feeling like inspired.
Exactly. Yeah, just some sort of inspiration. That's the key.
Yeah.
And so like I said, so hopefully, I mean, and for me to make my first interview talking about this film on this show, it is going to leave a definite impact. So it's appropriate. You know what I mean?
That's it. Powerful impact.
Yeah, it's going to definitely leave an impact on people. So, so like I said, I'll update you. A couple weeks, we could kind of, get the update once I finalize things, and get to the point. And I'm really praying for if I could get a Christmas release. I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on my editor, but if not a Christmas release, it won't be too far after the first of the year. But I'm just really shooting for a Christmas release. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
I will. And I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much, Goddess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. And I really loved everything that you're about. JFX, thank you so much just for sharing your knowledge, sharing your journey, sharing your projects. I feel like you are definitely making a powerful impact on the community, and I appreciate that.
Yes, it's coming. I mean, it's really coming. Like I said, I'm just trying to do my part, and
well, keep pushing. You're doing it.
Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming. So thank you guys so much, and just remember, it's going to be a one-time only screening online. I mean, I know I can reach way more, a much wider audience, to your initial point, digitally. So it's going to be a one-time screening online, and then pay-per-view. I could probably, get a local theater and do a screening, but, with COVID and everything, that's not the safest practice. Plus I have, my family, all, shout out to my family, people back. So this will give everyone an opportunity. You guys, of course, will have, VIP passes, of course,
Thank you.
VIP, it's recorded. We going.
We'll have definitely VIP, but what I'm going to do is, like I said, it's just that's what I'm going to need the help of the people to promote the film, to send out the information. I have an email, wheels of steel the film @gmail.com, which I'll be sending out, and that's how you register for the pay-per-view screening, and then you receive the location. So that's what I'm just doing this, like I said, a little bit different, but I'm just going to try to invite some key people, do the pay-per-view, see what happens the next morning, see what I got,
All right. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. I don't want to forget the man behind the blue wall up there. Neb, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, SP, thank you, Goddess, thank you, DJ JFX.
Yes,
I really appreciate that. And I can't wait for you to come back on, and I can't wait for the soundtrack, and hopefully we get some of those guests on, Sadat X, Greg Nice, and the like. Beat junkies.
That soundtrack is going to be so dope. I just can't wait to hear it. I'm so excited about this.
It's a pleasure just to be around excellence like that. I mean, it's just but now it's really my time. I mean, I'll be 53 in January, so
you shining king.
It's time.
Allegedly.
January what?
January 10th.
Capricorn.
My
mom.
I'm 13.
Oh, okay, me and my twin sister. So
okay.
So by then, DJ JFX, we're gonna be popping some champagne and some bottles for you, right? For your thing.
Yes.
And some brown yak.
So next week, like I said, next week is the wrap, film the final scene, and after that, it's just on to the editor. So shout out to my boy Dave, and Dave right now, it's like that's my eyes right now. You know what I mean? That's the man up top. I'm like, woo! I'm the scarecrow. I'm all three. I'm Dorothy. I'm all of them. Woo! That's Oz right there. Oh my God, he's the one best making it happen for me. But he's phenomenal, and you're going to be hearing about him Shout out to Ill Kings who did my artwork, my amazing movie poster. Just to have. I mean, the team that I have is phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Well, you're gonna come back, right?
Yes, I'll be back.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Powerful Impact. Thank you so much, DJ JFX. I so appreciate you. I really do. I'm so excited. I want to read your book. I can't wait to see the movie. I can't wait to hear the soundtrack. I'm just so excited for you because I have every faith that this is going to be spectacular in your life. And so I am going to put that in the universe because it needs to happen for you.
Thank you.
So
thank you. And it's all of us too. Like I said, it's not me. You know, you got to turn the M upside down. You know what I mean? It's all about us. It's about we. I mean, I'm giving people something that they could really gravitate to. You know, I mean, although initially, I was trying to keep it clean, but it's a little bit, the realness kind of came out with the language. So it's probably going to give me a little PG-13, you know what I mean? So sorry about that. I wanted initially everybody to be able to watch it with the little ones, but it got a little too real in some of the scenes.
Oh yeah, well, it can't be no worse than what they say on cartoons.
Yeah. You said
I'm just saying.
So thank you guys so much. And like I said, you'll always be, with me being the first official interview that I've done publicly talking about this film. So no matter what, it's going to always come back to the PI. You know what I mean?
Already.
Like all right, boom.
We are out of here. And don't forget to make a powerful impact in your life. Neville, hit it.
Boom!
There it goes.
You're now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Jah Rastafari.